Okay, update on the Zcar. So we have a ton of parts in for this, including all the gauges, body wiring harness, the engine computers in. So it'll be a Haltech Elite 2500 on this. So this part of a build, of course, is very time consuming to figure out what connectors different components have. Um, Basically, there's different generations of LS components on it, what connectors are on the transmission. There's an infinity rear end with a speed sensor in it we may or may not use, but yeah, it's getting close to starting to put a lot of that together. So we also went with a start stop type button, which will be controlled through the Haltech, which um, kind of modern styling for a little bit older style car, but let's face it, it's a pretty modern drivetrain. And with the modern options, we also added a clutch pressure sensor to give the Haltech some indication if someone's going to shift to allow the flat shift option that is in the ECU. And fuel lines and electrical is starting to be figured out where everything is going to lay. Still, worried about the performance, but still trying to keep a clean look. Can always be a challenge, but it's always, do you want to be a race car or show car? So the intercooler and fuel lines are all going through the frame, through the center of the car. It was about the only space available. Since rear end's independent, it'll always be high, so that allowed us to go slip underneath that in the drive line. The car's being built in such a way that the transmission can come out from the interior side rather than the bottom of the car. That's the other reason we could run those lines underneath, and does secure them pretty well. And yeah, trying to get everything in such a tight space. This is not a very big car to be having a American V8 and turbos, so yeah, the turbos have been mounted a little higher up and forward, and that's going to allow the oil drain to work much better. So, and of course, all things custom car, your first plan may not work. So we originally were going to wire the fuel lines off the back of the engine, feed both fuel rails, and then mount the fuel pressure regulator low on the front of the engine. But the Frigola connectors we're using, there's no combination of parts that'll allow that regulator to sit there in the valley of the engine. So we've actually just switched to where we'll feed one fuel rail, loop around the front, and then the second fuel rail will actually feed the fuel pressure regulator, and then the return. And that's our update for now. And if you want to keep up to date on what's happening with this car, subscribe and hit the alert button. Thanks for watching.